Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Adventure Treks info session. Thank you so much for spending the next half hour, 45 minutes or so of your evening with us. My name is Amanda Fox. I am one of the directors and owners of Adventure Treks. Excuse me. I'll be going through Adventure Treks, kind of our philosophy, our student goals, some commonly asked questions tonight. We will also hear from one of our families from California, Erica Weinberg, and her son Harrison will also be joining us towards the beginning of this info session to talk about their experience last year. Harrison joined us for his first trip last year and is returning for his second trip this year. So both of them will be happy to give their experiences from their perspective. But what is tonight really all about? Who we are as an organization, why we think that we stand out in this world of teen adventure travel, and what our goals are for our students. So first up, who is Adventure Treks? Since 1993, Adventure Treks has been running teen adventure travel programs in this tech-free space, adventure camps for kids with a focus on building community in the outdoors. We also want to make sure that our students are experiencing meaningful personal growth and having a chance, taking a break from the academic and social pressures, having a chance to have fun with friends in the outdoors. We all know that teenage years are a really formative time in our students' lives. So we want to use outdoor adventure as the medium for learning those important life skills like collaboration and critical thinking and communication, creating this really supportive space for teenagers to continue growing into their true authentic selves. And because they can unplug from technology and not have to worry about social media or being in front of a screen, they really become part of something bigger than just themselves, something very intentional, and they have an incredible amount of fun along the way. We strive to be a place where our students can truly be who they want to be as people. So breaking free of whatever personality they've maybe had to take on at home or at school, and just rewrite their narrative if they'd like to in this very supportive, judgment-free community of people who celebrate them for who they are. And of course, because we're an outdoor adventure program, students get to camp and hike and backpack and whitewater raft, rock climb, kayak, canoe, mountain bike, summit mountains, and so much more alongside these great new friends and our wonderful instructors. The meaningful growth, the personal growth that I mentioned earlier, a lot of that comes through age-appropriate outdoor challenge that continuously let students step outside their comfort zone and truly grow in ways that they don't have access to at home or in school. So we can really sum up our student goals, I would say, in 4 major themes. One, to be part of that inclusive community that I mentioned, one that feels like a second home and that really prioritizes a culture of kindness and respect. One, like I said, where students don't feel judged or bullied or anything like that, and one that's free of cliques. Where everybody feels like they have a voice and are valued in the community. Our students' friendships truly last long beyond their trips themselves. We always hear of countless reunions throughout the school year, around the holidays, and long after they've aged out of Adventure Treks. Being in an intentional community in the outdoors truly bonds people together, I think like no other environment. We also want them to experience that significant personal growth through that age-appropriate outdoor challenge I mentioned. The community living, pitching in and helping out, doing your fair share so that we can have this successful experience together. Having those leadership responsibilities, leading your peers throughout the trip, and learning how to be an active, supportive follower, equally important. We'll talk about those non-cognitive skills a little bit more later, but I firmly believe that the outdoors are such an amazing place for students to develop those life skills, that leadership, the social skills, all those non-cognitive skills, the ones that Apple and Dell and Google, IBM, and all of those other leading tech companies and other big companies, skills they recognize as being the ones that the youth of today really need to develop in order to be successful and the leaders of the next generation. Goal number 3, take students to beautiful wilderness areas they may never otherwise get the chance to visit. And we're talking those less crowded areas. We want to take them to places where they just may not have the access. Maybe their family is not an outdoorsy family, or maybe it's a place that we just are one of very few people in the world who get to visit, like Mount St. Helens, for example, or some of the beautiful provincial parks in British Columbia. We're very fortunate to have access to these beautiful places, and take students out of ordinary life, place them in situations where they experience the power of awe, which, as most people know, or many people know, research shows that the power of awe and experiencing awe, especially in the outdoors, really does lead to higher levels of happiness and greater fulfillment in life, higher levels of critical thinking and generosity and cooperation. We love the power of awe, and really, the outdoors, it's kind of unparalleled in terms of where you can really find that. And then, of course, we want students to make such good friends and have so much fun that they arrive home wanting to do it all again the next year. I think students often reflect, what I hear is that students often talk about how surprised they were to quickly find common ground with people from different backgrounds and cultures, and how closely they bonded in such a short amount of time. And because everybody chose to push that envelope and attend adventure treks because they want to do this with their summer, and because they have to work as a team to move through different challenges together, those relationships become even more meaningful and even more substantive. But for now, I would love to turn it over to Erica and Harrison, and I'd love to open the floor for them to speak a little bit more about their experiences. So welcome to Erica and Harrison.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm like sold. Sign us up. Sounds great. It's
wait,
actually
that's me.
was a joy to and there's Harrison on the screen.
Yes.
It actually is a joy to listen to you talk about the trip. So one, thank you for having me. I'm super thrilled to talk about our experience. It literally has been one of the best camps that Harrison has ever been to. I think I would just say we've always been looking for an experience, like a camp or an experience that would be a little bit different than the norm, something that would give him a greater appreciation for the outdoors, something to build his independence, and like to have that accomplishment that you could be really proud of. I literally just stumbled across the camp, searching, Google teen adventure, and I showed him like, hey, you could do this trip. We did the Pacific Northwest Challenge, and he saw it, and this is typically not his reaction to camps that I bring up, and he was like, yes, this is it. This looks amazing. And I think a little bit is that awe piece that you were talking about, because it looks incredible. And I would say he's not off the charts outdoorsy. He mountain bikes. We live here in California. He loves to boogie board, loves the ocean. He'll come on a hike if we drag him along, but he's not like he's not like some super rugged outdoorsy kid. But like I said, I showed him the itinerary, and I think the nature bit blew him away. I mean, even the photos look super majestic. And for us also, the Pacific Northwest, like what a great opportunity to get there to some place that he wouldn't normally visit. And then, as a parent, I was super excited about being unplugged and visiting somewhere he didn't, and literally being 21 days in nature. Like, when do you get to, I'm certainly not doing that. I might like to do camping for 2 days, but I'm not taking him 20 days and doing all the logistics and the planning. Like, that's not what our family's doing. So I have 5 things that I thought were wonderful about the trip. They're not long. 1, the number of kids. The 15 to 20 kids with the several counselors feels like exactly the right ratio. There's like enough grown-ups to handle the things if they come up. And like a little side note, all the counselors were amazing. Harrison loved all of them. And just in general, I think the number of kids is great. Like, you have time to connect with a few, but also it's not big enough, it's also small enough where you all feel like you're part of the same group, but you still have enough variety. I would say the variety of what you do was really compelling. You're backcountry camping for a few days, and then, you're hiking and rock scrambling, and then you're going to whitewater raft, and then you do some front country camping, like all intermingled. And I think it's like that, you had said, that access to great beauty and awe, and that's such a selling point of the trip. I was thinking even like the logistics days, this was the 3rd thing, like, were wonderful in terms of independence, or the stories he's telling, like, 15 kids are going into a grocery store and they're divvying up the chores and laundry. And there's like something so wonderful and communal and funny and bonding about doing that together. So like even the logistics days were fun. I loved also, as someone who like does facilitation for a living, like hearing Harrison come back and talk about the trip, like the icebreakers and the deliberate bonding prompts, like when you're hiking, we had a rotating hot seat where everyone's asking the person questions and getting to know each other. Or we got back and he would play a song like, oh, so-and-so likes a song. Because when we're in the car, everyone gets to pick their songs and play music. And it's just like a wonderful way to connect and bond. So I love that. And then my fifth one is just the collective challenge, I think, of the whole experience. When all is said and done, I don't think every kid like sees that and says, yeah, I want to spend 20 days outside. So there's something also, because he was definitely nervous to do it, but that constant like encouragement and motivation, and here this little banana photo here of climbing up Mount St. Helen was, you know, like just so that you're making it fun and you're encouraging and motivational and it's coming from a place of positivity. I know that worked well for him, so I thought that was wonderful. And then the only other thing I thought about, like, oh, what did I think going into it? Like the worrywart parent stuff. I loved that once he landed, I think in Seattle or wherever he landed, like once he had him, he called and he's like, hi, I'm here, I'm with the crew. So I felt like, okay, I'm just gonna let go and trust. But then as I thought about this last night, I was laughing that like a weekend, you sent home this huge thing of photos, and like I'm like 200. I'm going through the first 100, and we're like, where's Harrison? And I know he doesn't love the camera. I am sure he shied away from it. And we were like, is that his foot? Is that his water? I think that's his water shoe. So you know, my husband's like, Erica, you know, Harrison is not going to jump in these photos, and it's not all of them. I was like, okay, just gonna email Amanda. So I email Amanda, and literally, and this is not good life work balance for you at 10 o'clock at night. You may have called me, I can't even remember, but you definitely emailed me back and you're like, Erica, he's doing wonderfully. He's great. He's in more photos and he's a happy kid, don't worry. So I also appreciated that when I had my moment of, is he okay? And you knew, yes, of course he's okay. So yeah, and like you said, Amanda, he signed up for Squamish this coming trip. So we thought it was great.
Oh,
and Harrison has
is it already my turn?
It's already your turn.
Amanda gave me some prompts to answer. Thank you. And so the first prompt was, what brought you to Adventure Treks in the first place? Do you remember what you were most excited for, nervous about, da 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 da? Most fun things, I think I would definitely have to go with, like this particular trip, whitewater rafting and backpacking. As has been said, it is beautiful there. It is super, super, super pretty. And the whole communal, everyone carries some stuff, everyone helps cook, everyone sets up the tents is super fun. And whitewater rafting's whitewater rafting. There's not really much to be said. You get to go down a river on a raft and go up and down a bunch of waves. It's awesome. The next prompt is, how have your experiences at Adventure Treks helped shape or influence your life? I mean, I have something to do every summer now instead of just mindlessly sitting. Okay, no, but seriously, it definitely helps you appreciate the outdoors more. I don't think I was much of an outdoorsy kid, and I decided to give the camp a try, and it definitely helps with that. Then advice to Adventure Trek students, and I can think of two main points here. You definitely want to be in some form of shape because there is exercise, and there is a lot of it because you're walking around a lot. And they say this on the website, but seriously, break in your hiking boots. It is very, very, very important because you will get blisters if you don't. That is all.
Lovely. That was, I don't know if you can tell, I was laughing through a lot of that, Harrison. So thank you. And yes, to everybody who's watching, that's Harrison in all those photos. And I've been on Mount St. Helens quite a few times, and that's the first time I've had somebody in a banana suit. And not only in a banana suit, but so enthusiastically in the banana suit for so long. It was just one of my favorite moments, all-time moments of it. So thank you so much, Erica and Harrison. Please chime back in if anything comes back up for you.
Thank you.
So talking a little bit, you know, Erica mentioned this. One thing that we really pride ourselves on, and one big reason I think that we stand out is our student to instructor ratio and staff experience within our staffing community. So regardless of the trip, you know, the trip number, we can accommodate students up to 24, and a typical trip is somewhere in the 15, 16 to 20 to 24 range for us. We always maintain a 4-to-1 ratio of student to instructor. Most other companies have a 6 or 7 to 1. So like Erica said, we really love having more instructors with our students. Not only is it great for more supervision and I think a more honed focus on risk management, but it also means that there will be returning instructors on every single staff team with our students. So we have a trip of 24 students, we will have 6 instructors with that group. You know, excuse me, with risk management, for example, if we have a student who needs to sit out of an activity because of a sprained ankle or, you know, a stomach ache and has to go to the doctor, that doesn't mean that, you know, 12 other students are left with 1 instructor. We have the flexibility to maintain a really great ratio should one student need to sit out with one of our staff for some reason. Having more staff on every trip also means a wider breadth of knowledge and experience, personalities, and skills among that staff team. And when we're putting together staff teams in the spring, we're really looking at making sure we're balancing all of that so that we don't just have a staff team of introverts or just a staff team of extroverts. We want a really varied group of people that our students can look up to, grow close to, and learn from. Excuse me. And we know that students learn from multiple perspectives and different teaching styles, so we really want to have that dynamic staff team. And the smaller ratio, I truly believe, means that students actually get the personal attention and guidance and teaching and role modeling that they deserve. More instructors means we can easily meet students where they're at. So if we do have students who have more experience in the outdoors and want to advance their skill set, our instructors are able to help that student get there. And if we have students who are brand spanking new to the outdoors, they've never done this before, fantastic. We'll meet them where they're at and make sure that they're getting the attention they need to feel comfortable and really learn all of these new skills to succeed on this experience. And having more staff means we have the numbers to make that happen and really personalize this experience to our students while building that really nice cohesive community of people. And a little bit more on our staff. I really love to brag on them because they are fantastic people. They're not just younger folks looking for a fun summer job. We don't just recruit at colleges or universities. That makes up a small minority of our instructor population, people who are, you know, maybe finishing school or non-traditional students. Most of our folks are out of college and have experience working with youth in the outdoors before they come to work with us. So we're not hiring those just college age kids who we feel are better suited to a more traditional summer camp experience where there is more room to grow from greater director and administrative oversight. Our staff have that experience. They are older, they are more mature, they are more experienced coming into Adventure Trek. So we're not the place where they come to learn how to be in the outdoors. We're the place they come after they gain that experience. And our instructor return rate is really high because they have a passion for what they do, working with teenagers in the outdoors. They truly care about our students' development. And you know, where they come from throughout the year really varies. We have a lot of teachers or educators who work at spring or fall programs. We have a lot of people who work in the outdoors as ski instructors or other guides. But at heart, they truly are educators, and they do this because they absolutely love working with our students. So like I said, we have returning instructors on every single trip. And then both new and returning staff go through several weeks of orientation before our students arrive. Our senior staff do receive 3+ weeks of orientation at the beginning of every summer. So they actually get more experience or more orientation with us. I know a lot of other companies out there let them scoot off with less orientation, but we want to make sure that we're really setting up our summer and our staff teams well. And so in addition to, you know, learning about Adventure Trek's policies and protocols and the way of life at our orientation, they spend an additional week as a staff team scouting the actual locations of their trips, diving into those logistics, and then spending time getting to know students before they actually arrive. And Erica mentioned this as well, our larger student groups. So we have the ability to host larger student groups, and I think students love this for several reasons. It allows them to befriend even more people from different backgrounds all over the US and all over the world. We don't just pull kids from, one per several spots in the US with denser population centers. Our kids really do come from all over. And excuse me, it really helps them broaden their worldview when they have a lot more people to get to know and learn from. We spend time on our trip in small group activities and larger group activities. As Harrison mentioned, for example, with whitewater rafting, we do that as one big group because it's super duper fun. And when we go backpacking, we're going to break up into smaller groups because that's where a lot of the bonding truly happens, where students get more personal time with each other. It's easier for them, especially in the beginning, to open up a little bit more, find their voice, find their place in the community. And then our goal throughout the entire trip is that as we're kind of moving through big group, small group activities, that students will have that small group chance with every other student and instructor at least once, that chance to form that really close bond. Excuse me. And the social dynamics, I think parents really appreciate this. Social dynamics in a larger group with more instructors is very easy to manage. We're all humans. And if for some reason, maybe two students just aren't meshing quite as well together, we can manage those groupings so that it doesn't negatively impact everybody's experience, including their experience. And, with students who really get along well and make great friends and become really inclusive, like Harrison, for example, and a couple of his friends like Tristan, they were so great together and helped bring the community together. And so when we have people who are that inclusive and that uplifting, we're going to make sure that they get a lot of time together, because they're not only forming this great friendship that will last long beyond the trip, but because they're helping bring that community together and making it even closer. Excuse me. So I did mention, making that genuine lifelong friends. I think the friendships formed at AT are very special. The friendships we form at school often are circumstantial because we're all there together. We don't really have a choice. But when students are at AT, we want them to laugh freely and really be themselves, feel appreciated for who they are. And we want to create that strong culture of kindness and that sense of belonging to a community, of something bigger than just themselves, where everybody does feel included and supported. And that's a huge reason that our student return rate is higher than a lot of other companies, because they make those good friendships and want to come back to another trip year after year with that same friend group. And then that incomparable outdoor adventure. Each of our trips has a variety of outdoor activities that students can try. We're not just a single sport company. We want to provide a variety of activities for our students so they can try a lot of different things and see what they like and see what they want to continue doing and develop that love for nature and those different outdoor hobbies. Give them time to progress in those different activities while they're on trips. We want them to be able to continuously toe the line and push past the limits that they previously thought that they may not be able to cross. And I think what's really neat is when our students come home feeling really proud of what they did accomplish. That's where a lot of that growth comes through, as they grow more competent, they grow more confident. And I think what's most important about that is it's a mindset, that growth mindset that they can bring home and apply to new adventures and challenges that they encounter in school and home and their community and athletics and otherwise, whatever they're pursuing at home. And like Erica said, no experience is necessary for kids who don't have any outdoor experience. That is absolutely fine. We will teach them everything they need to know if they've never backpacked or hiked up a mountain or rock climbed or mountain biked. We'll teach them everything they need to be successful. And if they do have experience, great, we'll take it to that next level with them. And I touched on this earlier, but I just think it's so important, the life skills and the non-cognitive skills. In addition to having a ton of fun, we want our students to experience significant growth, and maybe they don't even realize it when it's happening, but significant personal growth. we developed our philosophy in line with the originally called the Partnership for 21st Century Skills, or P21. Their framework, which was developed by teachers and education experts and business leaders, and that is what has defined in the last couple of decades the skills that young people need in order to succeed later in life. Because they found that those cognitive skills kids were learning in school were not necessarily ones that were helping them succeed outside of academia. Those skills that they typically don't learn in the classroom or in sports. So alongside those the cognitive skills ingrained by formal education, the non-cognitive or interpersonal skills like collaboration and critical thinking and communication and creativity, that is what everybody says will create the next generation of confident, capable leaders. And so our philosophy is aligned with that. Most of our students will say that their experiences were a defining and profound learning one that helped improve that confidence and that independence and that communication. We have endless opportunities for our students to practice this, from being leader of the day, from Harrison in front of me and walking up Mount St. Helens and helping guide the trail that we're on, cooking for each other, figuring out problems together, all while boosting that optimism and that grit, that resilience, and knowing that they can work hard and get through hard things, that they will get to the other side and feel stronger for it, and know that they're capable of so much more than they might have originally thought. We all know, and a lot of this isn't news to anybody, we all know that teens face higher pressures than ever in school and media otherwise, and we want to be that panacea, spending time in nature with a supportive and fun community of peers and friends. There's a lot of research that shows that kids who spend time outdoors have better social awareness and higher confidence, greater creativity and reduced stress, better sleep even. And so we want to be the place where they can decompress from those many stressors they face, disconnect from social media, not worry about that for a while, and just simply live in the moment and enjoy surroundings face to face with their friends. And most important, we want our students to have a ton of fun. We want them to make those unforgettable memories that are going to carry them through life or go with them throughout life, build lifelong friendships, nurture that appreciation for nature, and feel really accomplished and proud of everything that they have achieved, whether that was simply doing this, taking that step and doing a new experience, to summiting a huge mountain. We want them to go home standing a little taller and feeling so proud of themselves. How many other students are able to say that, they've eaten dinner with their best friends on a secluded wilderness beach while the sun sets over the ocean, or that they did climb that snow-covered volcano as the sun rises, wearing silly costumes and, completing their first ever backpacks while singing songs on trail and exceeding their wildest expectations, or canoeing on a turquoise colored lake in the North Cascades of Washington. We want them to go home with those memories. They're defining for our teenagers, and they really do have a lifelong impact. Now, on to a few of the nuts and bolts. That's a lot of philosophy, and I know that a lot of our parents have more questions, regarding the day-to-day and what Adventure Treks is really like. So a few FAQs that I'm happy to answer a little bit more quickly, and then happy to answer any more questions related to these or anything else at the end of this. While students are welcome to bring a friend, we do limit the number of friend groups because most of our new students come by themselves without knowing anybody. So we want to make sure that that environment on day one feels really inclusive. So we don't want just one big, huge group from home and just a few new students. So we do encourage students to either come by themselves or bring just one friend. Most students do fly to our trips independently. We will be at the airport waiting for them. And like Erica said, as soon as they are with us, they will call home that safe arrival notification. We have a lot of guidelines for how to help make airport day as successful as possible. And we are there tracking every flight along the way for any cancellations or anything like that. And if anything does go awry, on an airport day, no worries. We will be there to pick up your child regardless of the time that they land. So no worries on that end. And if we have students who are coming from the same area on a trip, we're always happy to help facilitate that travel so they can have a buddy as they fly out to us. Because we are tech free, students will not have their phones. However, parents can follow along via the photo album link that we have and those written updates that our students and instructors will provide to the office throughout the summer. So we do provide that while students are with us, parents can look at it home. Food is very important to us. Pretty much anything you can make in your kitchen without the use of a microwave or an oven, we can make at Adventure Treks, and we really do. We have a long list of example meals on our website that I'd be happy to send anybody who's interested in viewing that. It's always a big question. We eat very well at Adventure Treks. We always have snacks available, and we really do a great job, I think, of mixing young person friendly and nutritious meals. And we can easily accommodate food allergies and picky eaters. Super duper easy for us. Tuition is all inclusive, so there's no need to rent or buy expensive gear like a sleeping bag or a sleeping pad or a backpack. We do provide all of that for our folks to take a lot of that worry and cost out of it. So no need to buy that expensive gear. We do have packing lists available to all of our enrolled families, so we are happy to share those for anybody who's interested and just seeing what they might need to pick up as well. We do camp every night, and students are often surprised at how well they sleep. We do have 3 students in a 4-person tent for a little bit more room every night. And students will always be able to practice good hygiene. So even if we're deep in the woods, away from running water, we will always have running water for like a bathroom. We'll always have water and hand soap and hand sanitizer available. We do take hygiene very seriously. Even though we're not showering every day, our students will be able to practice great hygiene. And like I said, no experience is necessary. We just ask that kids come with a positive attitude, a willingness to try new things, make great friends, and have more fun than they thought was possible. And like Harrison said, physical fitness is important. And if you are interested and you're ready to enroll, it's really easy. All you do is hit the Enroll Now button at the top right-hand corner of the website, and that will get you started. So for now, I am going to see if we have any questions. If you do have any, please feel free to throw them into the questions box, and we'll be happy to answer those. I don't see any that have come through yet, but I'll give it just a few minutes here. So I'll go ahead and turn off my camera, but I'm going to keep this up and answer any questions that come through. If it's a question that's really specific to your student, I'll just go ahead and answer that in the box. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I really appreciate you spending some time with us tonight. Happy to chat anytime about any specific questions you have about our programs, our trips, our itineraries. Anything that comes to mind, we are always available to speak with you and make sure AT is a great fit for your family. So please do feel free to reach out to us anytime. Thank you again. Again, my name is Amanda. Thank you to Erica and Harrison for speaking with us tonight. Thank you to Rachel, who is manning our presentation. She's our Associate Director. So thank you to everybody. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk to you soon.